Pregame.com.
Welcome back. Pregame.tv. Steve Fezzik, Brady Kannon breaking down the NFL power ratings. Who's the best team in the NFL? We've had a lot of shakeup throughout the year, and we're going to go ahead and debate who we think are the best teams. And Brady, I know you've been working on your ratings.
Yeah, I go through them every week, as do you. And, for a couple of weeks now, the top half a dozen teams have been pretty similar, kind of changing places a little bit. And I don't know if you're in agreement with me here, but I still have Denver as number one.
Denver number one. I tell you what, I'll go ahead and present mine, and then you can say yay or nay. I should go backwards, but I'm going to go forwards because that's the way that my brain is programmed. Number one, New England. I have them 7.5 points better than an average team. I think once they got Gronk back, this team has just been unstoppable. The way I know they lost to the Packers, those 4 wins against division leaders where they won them all in blowout fashion, it's just too impressive for me to ignore. So New England, number one. Number two, I have Seattle back at number 2, 7 points better than an average team, and that win at Philly was enough for them to just barely edge past a Peyton Manning-led Bronco team that Manning, he gets older every week.
Yeah.
Every week the man ages. I have them 6 3/4. I'm sorry. I've dropped him all the way to 4th at 6.5. I misspoke. Oh. Green Bay 6 3.75. This is all very, very close. Aaron Rodgers led Green Bay. Sluggish effort against Atlanta. So they snuck in still at number 3, just barely above Denver. But all 4 of those teams are within 1.5 points of one another. And again, New England 1, Seattle 2, Green Bay 3, and then Denver, a very strong number 4. You got to drop way down to get to number 5. Indianapolis, 4.5 points better.
Yep.
Do you concur?
Yeah, basically, I actually, my number rating is Denver and New England tied. But New England, I think if you've done the eyeball test and especially look at their schedule, who they've beaten recently, they certainly look like the best team in the NFL. But when you dig inside the numbers, and it was after that game when Denver just dismantled Kansas City, they really impress me. They are so solid in every facet of the game. Their offense is one of the best in the NFL. Their defense actually ranks higher than their offense. And they're good against the run. And now with C.J. Anderson, they're running the ball well. They really don't have a weakness. I would say if they have any weakness, it's Manning at quarterback is not as good as Tom Brady. So I've got those teams very, very close, but I think New England has a little bit of a weakness. Their defenses look so good as of late, but I think if you're going to get to that team, that's where it might be. We all know about Green Bay's weakness is certainly on the defensive side of the ball. They looked great in that game against New England, did not look so great last night. That is really their Achilles heel. And I think for Seattle, it's on offense. Now, certainly those are my 4 teams. I've got Denver and New England at the top. I dropped the Packers a little bit because I think that defense, we saw a little bit more about who they really are last night. And then I think Seattle's defense is improving, but I think they're still limited on offense. I don't know if I'd make them a tie just yet. All 4 teams, like you say, are extremely close, but I think they're, head and shoulders above the rest.
One thing I did with Denver is that because of Manning's struggles historically in cold weather, I know he played just fine at Kansas City when it's 10-degree wind chill, but I have to figure, hey, going into the playoffs, that's a factor. And I thought to myself, in terms of my power rankings, who would I bet if the line was pick 'em? And I can tell you, I would take New England a pick against any of these.
I think it just depends on where they're playing.
Yeah, that's
if Denver gets the home game, I'm going that way. If New England does, you have to go that way.
Right. Let's assume they play in Ford Field, Jets Buffalo style.
Well, what do you make the line? New England minus 1.5?
Yeah, I make New England the favorite, but it's not all that great. I would make Seattle a favorite against Green Bay, although it'd be tiny.
On a neutral field?
Half a point. Half a point.
I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
Seattle may have the hottest defense right now. New England was awful hot on Sunday night, but it looks like Seattle's defense is getting closer to what they were last year.
No doubt.
And they're starting to peak at the right time.
Very good. I have a rant. I don't have a pick here, but I have a rant that I want to get
let's hear
as far as these power ratings. So,
does it involve a movie quote?
I'll see if I can work one in. So here is my rant on power ratings. We're going to talk about the college football top 4, and I'll talk about that as well. Memo to ESPN, memo to Fox Sports, memo to Bleacher Report, and everyone else who does power ratings. Power ratings do not mean look up USA Today and see what everyone's record is and rank them according to record. My 3-year-old son would not be able to do that. Too complicated. However, when he's 8 or he's 6, I hope, he would be able to do that. Power ratings are how good a team is. I keep seeing the Arizona Cardinals and everyone's top 8. You're not even trying, people. Have you even watched a game? Have you? I mean, Arizona, and hey, some nice work. Vice president of the Spanish club, 3.14 grade point average. But you know what, Joel? It's just not Princeton material here, and it's not Final Four material. Arizona, it's ludicrous to put them in the top 10. I actually have them rated below average. You can get my power ratings over at pregame.com. But that one just stands out that you beat Brandon Wheaton and the Dallas Cowboys. Nice job. Kelly of the Eagles doesn't know he's supposed to go for it. 4th and 1 from the 2-yard line with 2 minutes to play. Tie game. Gave the game away. This is the luckiest team I've ever seen, Arizona. Luck makes you 10-3. Luck does not make you, unless it's Andrew Luck, a top 5 NFL team.
I still rate the Cardinals as above average because I think they are an above average team. They certainly have an above average coach. They've had an above average defense all year long. Oh, he's fantastic. Above average defense all year long, but that defense, they've been injured all year long, and now it's really starting to catch up with them as they're even succumbing to more injury. After my top 4, I go with the Ravens, the Colts, the Eagles, the Bengals. I've got all these teams ahead of Arizona: Lions, Kansas City, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Dallas, and then probably Arizona, San Francisco, probably in that next tier. I dropped the Saints again this week. Boy, I tell you, and it's interesting. You look at some of the sharp power ratings. For a longest time, they had the Saints way up there, and it's like, guys, come on, you have to drop this team. They continue, and they perform in the metrics on offense and whatnot, but that defense is just a sieve.
Absolutely, and I had the Saints rated 6 points better than average team. I thought they were going to be great this year. Now I got them as a 0 average team, and we're probably too high. Yeah,
I think I dropped them a tick below average this week.
I do have.
You can't lose to the Panthers. I mean, what happened there? That was incredible.
And like every drive that Cam Newton, everyone's heard this, but I'll say, Cam Newton goes for a drive. What happens? There's a turnover.
His offensive line, his car apparently protects him better than his offensive line.
I tell you, safer playing New Orleans than driving on the roads of Charlotte. That's scary right there. I say you untouched against.
Who are your worst 4 teams? I'm interested to hear this because I just bopped a team into my bottom slot this week.
The worst team's Jacksonville. Not even close. -11.
Okay, and now purely by the numbers is what you're saying?
More eye test for the bad teams and just...
Because what I like about Jacksonville, and I saw it last week, they try their butts off, okay, and they have effort. The Raiders are starting to get a little life and show effort. Tampa Bay has certainly improved. I have dropped my team that I just see nothing out of, and the numbers I don't think will tell you this, but the Tennessee Titans are god-awful.
They're god-awful. I've got them. I still got Jacksonville 1, Oakland 2, but Tennessee's driving. Tennessee is
They're going for that cellar dweller.
They're 9.5 points worse than average. They're right there. They could get.
I dropped them all the way to the bottom. Ahead of them, I have Oakland and Jacksonville, and then Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I have.
Washington's making a good run too.
I have Washington and Tampa Bay as very bad. I have Tennessee as god awful. I have Oakland as being slightly worse, and I have Jacksonville just like I said. They try hard, but they
do try.
You know what?
And their defense, has some moments. They're actually good against third down.
I'm going to come over the top and say this about and some of their third down stops are because they get 3rd and 6 when they're down 26 and the other team runs the ball.
Very true.
But Blake Bortles, he sucks. Yeah. I'm like what Beavis and Butthead. He sucks, dude. I mean, it's 4th and 4, and the guy rolls. I'm sorry, it's 4th and 18, and he rolls out and he throws a dump off pass to their the kid from Stanford, the running back that
Toby Gerhart.
Yeah, Toby Gerhart, and it's like Ray Rice once converted a 4th and 29, and that's the only time in the history of the NFL a play like that has worked. And it's just like I don't want to get saddled with an interception.
Yeah,
I want to complete.
I just give them a couple of style points because I think they show up and expect to compete every week. Where I don't really see it in the Titans. I mean, this team. Whew,
yeah, the Titans and
the Giants, who are another pretty bad team, just took them out to lunch.
I think in live wagering that when Oakland gets down 25, Or Tennessee, you don't want them, whereas Jacksonville, you could probably look to back them. All right, we've been breaking down power ratings. That's our top. That's our bottom. We're going to go to the Final Four, talk college football playoffs. Did the committee get it right? Did they not get it right? Stay tuned. Pregame.tv.